Hello everybody, welcome back to City News. Joining me now is the Honourable Maurice Williamson. He is a Minister in the Government and he's made a flying visit to Todd McClay's office this morning to come and help out with some of the issues here. He actually helps out with quite a few issues in our country, and we're going to start by getting him to list some of the things that he does. Kia ora, and thank you for joining me this morning.
Kia ora, good morning to you.
So what are the hats that you wear in government?
I'm a minister of a whole range of things. The biggest would be building and construction, because that's a massive portfolio. And interesting, building and construction contributes as much to the New Zealand GDP as does agriculture. So it gives you an idea how big it is. I'm Minister of Customs, so we've been implementing things like the electronic smart gates at our airports, where you can arrive in New Zealand, put your passport on a glass screen, look up at the camera, and we're processing people through customs now at an average of 22 seconds a person. I'm Minister for Land Information, which is responsible for managing all of the land portfolio that the government holds and all of the cadastral data, the surveying data, the parcel titles and so on, which is Land Online. I'm Minister of Statistics, so was responsible for things like the census, which we had to cancel because of Christchurch earthquake, but all of the surveys that we do every year of businesses and people about what they're doing. And we're doing a census now in 2013 because we had to cancel this year's. I'm Minister for Small Business, which is putting a whole lot of policies through the government for all of the, and Rotorua would be mainly small business really. You've got a few big players, but mainly small business. And one of the other portfolios I got recently was I'm the Associate Minister for Earthquake Recovery, working with Jerry Brownlee on the complete rebuild of Christchurch. So there's a lot of work.
Certainly is a lot of work. Very busy man. What in particular has brought you to Rotorua today?
Well, we're part of the election campaign now, and members of Parliament from all the parties, the Parliament has lifted, and we're out now basically getting out and making ourselves known to the public and our policies in the portfolios. So Todd's got a program worked out for me today. We'll go visiting businesses, walking in the street, door knocking, whatever he's got, I will be doing it. And there will be a chance for people in the building sector. I know we're going to Lockwood Homes, and they'll be interested to ask what our policy is with regards to the building and construction sector for the future. And that's the campaign between now and the 26th of November, just about every day being out on the road.
Well, you did mention at the outset that you're very involved with the recovery of Christchurch. Rotorua, of course, is a geothermal hotspot, and we also are at risk of those types of natural disasters. How can Rotorua best prepare with all of the knowledge that you've gained from Christchurch?
Well, I mean, the very first message to everybody is get your emergency services packs that Civil Defence keep telling you should have. There are lists of them on the back of phone books, and you can go to the Civil Defence emergency website and so on. Now, most people just say, oh, I'll never need it. And the number of people in Christchurch who say, I wish I'd kept some torches and batteries and some water and some canned food and some biscuits and some dried food, kept it away somewhere in a plastic box, somewhere where it was accessible, because we all basically take the attitude, oh, it'll never happen to us. And Christchurch took a pounding, and a lot of people wish they'd had it. So if the first piece of advice is make sure you've got your emergency kit sorted out, a radio that can work off batteries because electricity will go out and so on. Secondly, make sure you've got a plan for your family, where they will be, how you will get together with them, how you'll meet them, because sometimes with the cell phone networks out, they can't even phone you. Everyone says, well, I'll just text you. Well, if the cell phone network's gone. But more importantly, it's very hard to plan for huge catastrophic events because they'll come 1 in 1,000 years and you won't know about it.
Can you tell me what your advice would be for council with the older buildings in Rotorua, getting them earthquake-proof? Is that a priority? Well,
first of all, let me get it clear. There is no such thing as earthquake-proof. What you can do is build buildings to a standard that will withstand a certain level of shaking. Currently, the earthquake code in New Zealand requires new buildings to be built to a 1 in 500 year event. That is something we would never expect to occur more than once every 500 years. What happened in Canterbury looked like a 1 in 3 to 5,000 year event. That is catastrophic. You won't expect to ever see it again for thousands of years. So what we're saying to all the councils, go back and look at your earthquake-prone buildings and then put in place a program that will strengthen those, go back and retrofit and strengthen them where they can be. In some cases, some unreinforced masonry buildings will have to actually be demolished. But make that judgment call quickly. We'd given them a long time frame in the past. I think Canterbury earthquake has now brought that forward. Can't wait now, because a lot of people got killed in unreinforced masonry buildings that collapsed everywhere I go around the country. Now, every time I go back into Wellington, as I'm driving along, I think that's exactly the same as the one I saw in Christchurch, and that's exactly the same, and so is that, and they all came crashing down. So we've got a big job. We've got to be careful, because it'll add a huge bill to our nation to rebuild, but all new buildings will have to comply with the new code, and then we'll have to look at how quickly we have to make everyone retrofit their old ones.
Thank you very much. And just finally, a final question. As you are the building and small business and all of these hats that you have, how can we build small businesses in Rotorua?
Well, the best way to get a small business thriving is to try and get as much red tape and bureaucracy out of the way and give as much freedom to the entrepreneur to go ahead with it. So we've done a number of things. For example, we put the 90-day probationary regime. So when you're hiring new staff, for your first 90 days, you don't have to take somebody on and then be stuck with them. We think that's a fabulous way for both sides. If you're a young person wanting to get a job and prove yourself, then you can say to the employer, I'll work for that first 90 days knowing that if I'm no good, you don't have to keep me on, and you can take the chance and bring me on board, and therefore if I am good, you'll want me to stay. And I think that's one of the things. We've changed the tax regimes, we've changed some of the Holidays Act, we've changed quite a lot of things so that small businesses have less bureaucracy and red tape to comply with. There's still too much, and there's still a regulatory reform program underway where we're trying to remove even more barriers to people getting out, taking a chance. Let me finish with one fact. 97% of all businesses in New Zealand employ less than 20 people.
Thank you very much for your time.
My
we
pleasure.
appreciate everything that you do. You're obviously a very busy man, and we appreciate spending some of it with us. Kia ora.
Thank you very much. Kia ora to you.
Well, everybody, join us again for more City News after the break.